Welcome back to an exciting episode of Game Week 39. My name is Karcholo Matiz. I'm your host, and as usual, I'm never alone. I'm with my co-host Mario. Mario, we're back, bro. It's been a minute. I think the longest international ever.
Yeah, and I think we fell asleep on the steering wheel for one game week there.
Yeah.
No excuses. What's happening, Game Week 39 world? We are back with another one. As you can hear, my voice is not 100%. I am sick, but I am here.
You know what it is.
I am battling through the trenches to give you guys the content you want, the content that you deserve. International break.
Yeah.
It was quite eventful.
It was.
Shout out to Bafana Bafana.
Yeah. 17 wins. 17 wins unbeaten.
17 games unbeaten.
17 games. 13th and 3rd in the world ranking in terms of teams that have ever attempted that before.
I think now,
currently is in stand.
Current unbeaten streak.
Shout out Bafana.
Yeah, but definitely 2 out of 2.
Yeah.
The boys are cooking. The boys are doing well.
So we're going to the USA.
Hopefully we'll be in the USA, the United States of America next year, taking part in that World Cup.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not here for the World Cup. We're here for the Premier League. Let's get it started, my guy.
You know what it is. As Mario said, He's walking, he's a half man down, but he's here, and that's what we're all about at Game Week 39. You never give up. 7 games to go. The man is still here cooking. You can't tell us you were sick and you forgot to change your team or whatever. If a man is coming to the show to give you all the analysis that you need, what excuse do you guys have? So, but anyway, I'm talking to the Shaky Warriors. Mario, let's get the show started. I think probably just reflecting on some of the score lines. I don't know if managers, you guys still even remember because it's been a long time. But let's maybe start with Everton versus West Ham. That was a 1-1 score line. I don't know if you have a good recollection of how that went down.
I kind of expected this. West Ham haven't been in the greatest form, even though they downed Arsenal with the Bowen header.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, but I haven't forgotten that.
Can forget a lot of things.
But then, other than that, West Ham not in the best form. David Moyes started off hot.
Yeah.
Has cooled down a little bit. Everton also, I think they started off poorly and they've improved. They were on a nice winning streak for a little bit there with Beto, also in good form.
Yeah.
But Souček I think scored. O'Brien with the late equalizer.
Yeah.
Not too eventful. Yeah, share the spoils. I think that's what
the game deserved.
What the game deserved.
Hundreds. And then Ipswich, they still seem to struggle. They've been struggling. I think they're the only team that have not registered a win this whole since the start of 2025. Which is quite sad and shocking. But Ipswich won 4 Notting. I think in this fixture, most of us had captained Chris Wood because Salah was blanking and Wood also just didn't do anything for us.
Yeah, I think you meant Ipswich 2.
I think
Nottingham
it's 2.
Forest 4.
Yeah,
it was a good game for me, that one.
It was a very good game for you with
Delanga in that team.
Milankovic also.
Milankovic as well.
Damn it.
I just brought him in. And also Chris Wood, who I made my captain, unfortunately. Under peer pressure, under duress from you.
Don't tell me you're going to captain Ilanga as your second option. Where was your vice captain? Who was your vice?
It was Ilanga.
Get out of here.
What do you mean,
Let's put up Mario's team right now.
But then where are we going to get it from? The app is closed.
No, the app is closed, but our editors are here. They can do the things.
But anyway, a good result for Nottingham Forest. Playing one of the 3 teams that are going down. Like I previously established, Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich going back from whence they came. If that's the correct English. From whence they came.
Yeah, no, all right.
So. But good performance, Ilang in good form. Second double-digit haul in as many months. I think Nottingham Forest have a double.
I think Hudson-Odoi also scored in that game.
It was Milankovic
scored.
Silva. Jay Silva scored as well. For Ipswich, Hurst and I can't even pronounce that name.
Yeah.
So I won't even
That
try.
guy. That guy. You guys know that guy.
But yeah, Nottingham Forest looking like they wanna qualify for the Champions League. So we'll
On
see
track.
how that goes for them. They have good fixtures coming up, so I'm not looking to get rid of Ilang Su.
Yeah.
Wood is injured.
Yes,
Um,
international break. We know international break tends to come with these problems.
So for any managers looking to replace him, if they haven't already, since by the time this airs, we'll be talking about game week 31.
Yeah.
Um,
Which we're covering here, by the way. 30 and 31.
Musa, since Haaland is out, is a good option.
Mamouche.
Mamouche. I don't know if you say the sh.
Mamou. It's Mamouche, my guy. It's Mamouche, I think.
Mamouche.
Yeah.
I think, or whatever. But he's a good option.
Yeah.
Mateta, Isak. I think those are 3 forwards that I fancy.
In terms of replacing Chris Wood now.
Forward. As well as Wisa, you could put him in there. I think Brentford also doubled in 33. So yeah.
All right, you heard. Mario also recommended. Yes, I know.
Digress. But then those are replacement options for Wood.
For Wood,
which
exactly.
does tie back to the 4-2.
Correct. No, solid. Man City 2-2 against Brighton. We saw that Brighton have been on a good form. We just don't know if that form is gonna cross over past the international break with them. Yeah, man, they're holding City, or rather than they're settling for a draw with City 2-2. City playing at home. Not surprising from City given how things have been going this season. But your thoughts? I know you have Mamouche up front, and he also returned for you. So I'm sure you're quite.
Well.
I'm sure you're quite
goal
happy
and
with
assist.
that.
Assisted Haaland. Scored a goal.
Nice.
3 bonus points. 12.
Was he? Did you just bring him in for that game?
First game weekend.
Yeah, it's always a good feeling.
It's a good feeling, definitely.
When the scout does the scouted things.
And obviously, it's in the lower percentages in terms of ownership. So it did help.
Not now though. So he's sitting at one of the most transferred in players. I think probably the first number one transferred.
Did you bring in Mamouche? Probably. The way you've been speaking about him.
We're going to find out.
The way you've been speaking about him, I think you might have.
We're going to find out. Did I bring in Mamouche? Because I also have a Chris Wood problem. So,
So
who did I bring from your lineup? Mateta, Mamouche. Who else did you say?
It was Mateta, Mamouche, Isak you already had.
Already have Isak.
And Johan Wisa.
Wisa. Who did I bring in? Option. You guys will find out.
But back to Man City. My thoughts, Pep Guardiola. And I'm speaking directly to you, my brother. Your football playing legacy at Man City is set. At Barcelona is set. You do not need this, my friend. Go home, take care of your family. Rekindle things with your wife. There's no need for this. Bringing this harm and violence to yourself, to your family. My friend, just let this be your last season. Go. It's either you live long enough, you die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Don't see yourself become a villain. Those are my thoughts on that too. Because they look like they were about to lose the FA Cup over the weekend.
Yes, I was about to say that he did score and he came back and he had something to say to the media.
By the skin of their teeth, they went through. So I don't know how much Man City will be celebrating at the end of this season. Out of the Champions League, out of the EPL, Carabao Cup. Oh, sorry about that one. I had forgotten about
Mario has jokes.
I had forgotten about you. Are you okay? I haven't checked.
I'm alright.
I haven't checked on you.
It was not nice, but I mean, we move on.
Yeah, I saw there was a nice parade there on Tyneside. Do they call it Tyneside?
I don't even know. I don't even care.
Geordie Shore. Is that when Newcastle it's Geordie Shore, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, Man City have a good run of fixtures coming up. They obviously have the double as well. Haaland is injured. Mamouche, however you want to pronounce it. Omar, I think that's the easier way. OM. He's a good option, like I already mentioned. In midfield, I'm not so sure who you can look at, but in terms of defense, Guardiola
absolutely.
definitely nailed in for Man City.
Yeah.
And also an attacking threat. So that's all I have to say about Man City.
All
Brighton played well. Should have taken the 3 points. Pep, go fix your family.
Pep,
yeah.
you heard. Bournemouth, they seem to be slowing down. They were doing very well. I think for the past couple of games. By a couple of games, not necessarily the recent fixtures, but they lost 2-1 to Brentford. I mean, I brought in the likes of Ouattara. Now I'm just seeing him as dead weight there, and I need to get rid of him. I don't know if you have other options there. Managers who have Clivert, I don't know if Clivert is still returning and Keke's at the back. But this fixture and what we do with Bournemouth assets going forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too discouraged. Brentford is a tough team to play against. Wisa, like I mentioned, he's an absolute predator. I mean, he's about to break. Oh, he broke Ivan Toney's record already, isn't it, for the most goals for a Brentford player in the Premier League? And I mean, Ivan Toney was that man, was that guy for the longest time. And for Wisa to be returning, it just, obviously Ivan Toney's English. It's England, you know how it goes.
You know how it goes.
But yeah, I wouldn't be too low on the Bournemouth assets. They play Ipswich next. So
good fixture.
So I'm not in a rush to ship out any Bournemouth assets. But also going forward, if I just look quickly, they have West Ham after Ipswich. They have Fulham, Palace. They might double in 36, but that's too far away to worry about now. So I would probably keep my Bournemouth assets for the Ipswich fixture, let them bounce back, and then transfer them out if you wanna bring in maybe a double player.
Before we move on, I think it's also it's worth noting, or rather maybe advising the managers that also you don't want to necessarily be playing or activating your wildcard now. I know most cheap strategies that you could be playing, yes, they are saying between game week 30 and 32 or 33, you'd want to wildcard. But given the fact that we come from international, there are a lot of injuries, and also we are just not sure about the teams that were doing well going into the international break, if they're still going to do well. So I think it is something that managers can just, be cautious about, that you do not necessarily have to play a wild card right now. I was listening to one of our fellow content producers based in the UK, I'd like to believe. Always cheating. Shout out to you guys, doing some cool things there. And the one guy was talking about how bad his team is. Like, literally, it's just so bad that he doesn't really have much of an option than to wildcard. So unless you're in a similar situation, yes, I'd advise wildcarding. But besides that, I'd say probably just see how 31 goes, or 30 and 31 goes, and then we can start wildcarding from there. All right, moving on. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. You look depressed, my friend. What happened? What happened there?
And you better not cut to me. You look depressed because I'm genuinely just ill. It has nothing to do with that.
It will make a beautiful meme.
I'm like drugged up on some flu medication. But don't doubt my analysis. It still sounds like dream FPL at night. So Arsenal Chelsea. Yeah, it was an okay game. Palmer didn't play.
Yes, because he's not been doing very well since Nick also has been out.
Yeah, he had a muscle injury. Apparently, he's back in training this week. I think he should be fine for the Tottenham game on Thursday.
Okay.
Other than that, Chelsea didn't look inspiring, didn't look too strong. We had a lot of injuries, Jackson, Palmer. The consistency, the continuity was broken up. Enzo, Reece James, in and out of that lineup a lot. So, Chelsea not too strong. And if they play a team that is sure of themselves and know their story, and they've been playing together for a while, this the likely result. Could have been a draw. It was a 1-0 loss. Take it on the chin, move on.
All right.
But yeah, in terms of FPL, Saka is back, according to Mikel Arteta. Arsenal have, I think, the best double in 32 or 33, man. Sorry, 32 is Newcastle and Palace, that double. In 33, so I'd be looking to triple up on Arsenal assets. I wouldn't get rid of Palmer just yet. He still has 1 or 2 good fixtures coming up. And I think the rest might have done him well. He didn't play for England.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my opinion on the game and the assets.
All right.
And I'll keep it as professional as I can. And I am not depressed.
I think you're at the mercy of our editors. Fulham, you better bribe. You better drop a brown envelope.
Yes, my guy. I know he wouldn't do me dirty like that.
Fulham chowing, Tottenham, it's not a surprise. I mean, Spurs, I don't know, conversations always go and you hear, the Spurs loyals and fans will be saying, oh, we play exciting football. But what is exciting football without results? I don't know your thoughts on that one, Mario.
What is exciting football without results?
Yeah.
I mean, that I think that should be taught to Arsenal and Tottenham fans. I mean, the three-peat of finishing second for Arsenal. Spurs, I think, haven't won a major trophy in 50-something years.
I think they also deserve the Carabao win.
They've got a Carabao Cup, but then major trophy.
Okay.
We're either talking about Premier League, Champions League.
Yeah.
So they have a Carabao Cup, I think, from 2007 or something like that, if I remember correctly. But they consider themselves a big team in London, one of the big teams in England and in Europe. So I don't think a Carabao Cup would satisfy the fans. But 2-0 to Fulham, I can't say I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Spurs have been atrocious. I don't know how Ange still has his job.
They plan on keeping him. I said they must give him time, give the man time and resources.
Yeah, I guess they gave Arteta time. He finished 8th twice. Now look, he's making Arsenal supporters the happiest in the world, finishing second 3 times in a row.
Yeah, but isn't that default settings?
And he's won 2 community shields.
Isn't that default settings for Arsenal?
And he's won 2 community shields. So I mean, and like 2 community shields and like FA Cup or Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Arteta can get 5 to 10 years out of from Arsenal for that, I'm sure Ange can squeeze maybe another season or 2 without a trophy for Spurs. But yeah, I don't hold my breath for Spurs. I don't look at their assets. They do nothing for me.
Nah, you heard.
They literally, FPL wise, they do nothing for me.
Which is quite sad. I mean, we're missing Son, man. So Kane leaving, that was one of the deadliest combinations in FPL.
In history of the Premier League players, they hold the record.
Insane.
They're one of the top players to ever contribute goals towards each other. I think it's 20-something. In the high 20s, they're definitely in the top 3 duels.
Yeah. For
top 3 or top 4 duels for assisting each other in Premier League history. Right up there with the likes of... no.
Manu.
And you know this yourself. Salah would kick it. Man nearly slept.
No, man, you're talking about the last. You're speaking of the last season. How do you speak of the last season of a combination?
The milk out of Salah for how many times he used to kick. I think that's even one of the main reasons Sadio Mane left, because Salah never passed him the ball ever. That man would have 5-on-1 and Salah Mane would be alone. That side.
Maybe that's why he's sitting 5th in the all-time Premier League.
And score the goals. But I was actually going to say Drogba and Lampard.
I knew that it would be Chelsea. I knew that it's going to be Chelsea.
Fabregas and Diego Costa. We were talking about legendary duos. Bergkamp and Thierry Henry. Legendary duos. Things that Liverpool know nothing about.
All right.
But anyway.
The last fixture that we have here, Mario with a bit of life, being able to throw a jab. Leicester 0, 3 Man United. Earlier on off record, you were busy thinking out loud about your permutations. You know, it reminded me of the days where I played chess. You sort of like have 5 moves that you're thinking of playing, but it's like if I do this and this guy does that. In terms of playing Amiron, and if Amiron goes on to beat Manchester, who did you say he's gonna beat?
Man City.
Yeah, Man City, and then you're gonna switch your assistant. But Leicester 0, United 3. I don't know. Is United impressing you enough to consider playing assistant manager?
But it's a sound
to
plan
Amiron?
for anyone who still has all their chips. This was my thinking. I play my assistant manager in 31. For 31, 32, 33. I don't wildcard before 33. In 34, I play my free hit, and then I wildcard in 35. In 36, I play my bench boost, and then I can choose between 37 and 38.
Yeah.
Where my triple captain lands. But yeah, definitely a solid.
It's the dilemma of when you have options.
Yeah, too many
You
options.
have too many options.
But then
Too
the
little time.
assistant manager was for 31. I was looking for a punt because for 32 and 33, I'll obviously focus on double game week teams.
Yes.
So the punt for 31 was either Almiron, who plays Man City, in 31, and obviously a considerable number of places behind. But it is a derby.
Yes.
And Pep is going through his Usher moment. I don't know if you ever seen that Boondocks episode where Tom is serious, man. You remember that episode? And Tom they took Usher, took Tom's girl. Pep name Slick Back had to step in. So I think Pep needs his Pep name Slick Back. Otherwise, Almiron might have him. So yeah, that is what I was saying. But in terms of the 3-0 win against Leicester, like I said, goes back to the 3 worst teams in
bound
in the Premier League at the moment. I mean, if you can't even score against Manchester United, then I don't know what you're doing.
Hey, my guy. I said you must live in brown envelope for Tiamo. You can't be saying such things.
But anyway, before I piss Tiamo off, I actually considered bringing Bruno Fernandes in for either Salah or Palmer. I don't know, Palmer's not going to play.
I think Palmer is not a bad idea.
And then captain him for that game week 29, which would have been an excellent move actually. But I moved too fast. I made my transfers before the Europa League results where Bruno scored the hat-trick.
Yeah.
And it only occurred to me after that happened. So yeah, I missed out. A lot of managers did captain him, had him 17 points. I think he was king of the game week, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So yeah, a brilliant showing by Bruno. A lot of fight, a lot of heart. In terms of Leicester, they're going down.
No, I think we've covered Leicester.
So,
it's one of those fixtures that as managers we can even target now going forward.
Yeah. I've been targeting
there's no
Ipswich,
life
Leicester, and Southampton.
Yeah.
But yeah, Manchester United, I don't know about FPL assets in terms of that. I would avoid them most likely. They don't have any appealing doubles or anything like that. So yeah, just enjoy the ups and the downs.
Roller coaster.
Empty land.
All right. So we move on. Red, green arrows, my friend. I think, we're hitting a crossroad, you and I. I'm literally going where Mario is coming from, and Mario is heading where I was going. Because you've been scoring quite well these past game weeks, and I think I've been, very applauding of that. I think you scored a good, if I recall, 55 points, right? And the average was 40. So unfortunately, your captain was also Chris Wood, who gave you 4. But
it would have been Bruno if I didn't make. And I know I didn't want to bring in Wood. I ended up regretting it. If I waited for Thursday or Friday morning, I would have put in Bruno instead of Wood. we would have been talking about another story. But I'm happy with the 55.
I mean, yes, man. Count your blessings. It doesn't come easy. I'm sitting with the 30 points. Imagine 30 points, 10 points shy from average of 40. So it was a dismal scoring game week. Terrible. I was looking at my performance graph on FPL Hub, and it has literally just been going down since I think game week 28. So I need to turn my ship around before Mario starts bringing in stats and historical, analysis there, which are in his favor. But standout players, as you mentioned earlier, Bruno Fernandes is voted king of the game week with 17 points that he managed to score. He scored a goal and 2 assists. 8.6 million. That's his market value. I think it's a steal, given how much you get in your bank.
I think it's an avoid. Given the fixtures and the players available.
Yes, it's definitely an avoid. But in terms of the price tag and some players that we are touting in terms of shipping out, Cole Palmer I think is like 10 point something. So when you ship out Cole Palmer, if like Mario, you were thinking of bringing him in on 29, or probably you see some prospects of him being a differential. 8.6 million. Not necessarily differential. 20.3% of managers actually own Bruno. So there are some Man United faithfuls that believe that Bruno Fernandes is the guy for them. And then we have Ilanga in number 2. So Ilanga scored 16 points. As Mario mentioned earlier, he benefited quite greatly. I mean, already just this 16 points from Ilanga is what takes you above average. Literally just above average by just owning Ilanga there. He scored 2 goals, 5.4 million. That's his market value, and is owned by 7.1% of managers. So still coming in very cheap. Actually, I'm a bit curious on if 7.1% is really the ownership. I think my numbers here could slightly be off. But that is Ilanga. And then Leno was joined third, 13 points that he scored. He assisted, according to the statistics. I didn't see the goals that Fulham scored, I believe, against Tottenham, but there was an assist associated with his name, and also a clean sheet that he kept. 5.5 million. That's his market value right now, with an ownership of 2.6%. So definitely something that, those managers that did have him, they ripped nicely there. So speaking of chips, I think we are at, the exciting times of the season. Chips having to be played. You heard Mario earlier speaking of the fact that, he has all the chips and he needs to navigate through when to play the chips between now and game week 37, or rather game week 38. So with only 9 games to go, including this one, I mean, with an assistant manager that spans through 3 games, already you're left with like 5 games or so, 6 games to be specific, to be able to play other chips. So it's that time to really revisit the chip strategies that we played. I think if you go back to a couple of episodes back, we gave you all 3 chip strategies that we thought were quite ideal for any type of a manager in any type of a situation, given what you have played and what you haven't played. And maybe just revisiting that for the managers that probably haven't been watching. Now that we are in between game week 30 and 32, for the cheap strategy number 1, which is the balance strategy, it's the best time to be preparing, or rather playing a wildcard to prepare for double game week 33, as you've been hearing from Mario mentioning there. And then also with chip strategy number 2, between game week 30 and 33, in this case, you would have to be using your transfers to prepare for the double game week. So I think, Mario, this is one of the strategies that you were speaking of earlier, that you are planning on keeping your wild card because you want to play it, I think you said on 34, 35, if I'm not mistaken. So meaning that you are falling into this cheap strategy where you're going to use your transfers to navigate through double game week 33. And also probably because, I mean, if your team is set up well enough to take advantage of that, absolutely. But like I said earlier, one of our fellow content producers did mention that he's in a different situation. He doesn't have a good team at all, and that team needs a wild card. So that falls into cheap strategy number 1. And then the last cheap strategy Similar to chip strategy number 2, this is actually named the no wildcard strategy. Again, Mario falls into this bracket along with all the managers that probably have played their wildcard to use their transfers to navigate through double game week 33. So yeah, man, exciting times. And I mean, with 33, that's because in some cases bench boost is being advised because there are a lot of games there. So if you can be able to take advantage, as much advantage as you can with the chips that you have, and the fact that we have this many double game weeks, it's you're on the right side of probably those points. But Mario, we said in this show we're going to be speaking about game week 30, the one that is probably kicking off in the next few minutes at the time of recording. The deadline is done. If you missed it, I hope you do not regret it. So game week 30 deadline was at 7:15. So that has passed in the time of us recording this. So going into game week 30, maybe we'll start with game week 30 and then we'll go to game week 31 fixtures. But I have Bournemouth here versus Ipswich. I have Manchester City and Leicester. I have Southampton versus Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Everton, and Chelsea versus Tottenham. I don't know which of these fixtures really stand out for you, and maybe you can just tell us how you plan or how managers can actually take advantage of this.
Okay, I'll just try to run through them quick.
Yeah.
They're not so consequential.
Yeah.
Palace, Southampton, of course. You should be loading up on your Palace players. They double guaranteed 32, likely double in 33, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle. I know it doesn't sound like the easiest fixtures, but it's a double. And Palace, they're getting Mateta back. Might be the ignition or the catalyst to their fire. I think catalyst is a better word.
And
to the end of the run season.
Sorry to interrupt you. Crystal Palace, Mateta, last season towards the end.
That
man almost pulled a rabbit out of the hat for me.
Exactly. You know? So not to be taken lightly. You mentioned Man City, Leicester. Man City should take Leicester to Pound Town. But if Guardiola fails at that, you should always remember my words. You should always remember my words. Go fix your family. Otherwise, you die a hero. You'll live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Don't see yourself become the villain, my friend. Liverpool versus Everton. I think it's a tougher fixture than we give it credit for. Everton have been playing well. But obviously, Salah was captain favorite. I'm sure majority of people did captain him for that game. Arsenal, Fulham. I hope Arsenal keep a clean sheet. I've doubled them at the back. But people should be preparing to bring Arsenal assets in. Even though they don't double in 32 like Palace and Newcastle, they do double in 33 and probably have the best double in 33, which is Ipswich and Crystal Palace. So definitely worth keeping an eye on for 30 and obviously other fixtures going forward, especially to see if Saka plays this game week and to see how much he does play.
Yeah, and I think the how much is very important there because given
I think they'll obviously be trying to save back him for Real Madrid.
Yes, exactly. And the fact that he's definitely going to want to ease him into the game. So he's probably not necessarily going to get the whole 90 minutes. Not to say that he always got 90 minutes. I think he did substitute him towards the end, right, to preserve him because he is that player that is key and first on the starting 11. So one to look out for. I saw that on FPL Hub. He is one of the players that are going up in price tonight. So with that said, I think managers should also just be cautious of the fact that, a new player coming in or other player from injury coming back, there's that transition into the starting 11. All right. And then maybe while we're still on this fixtures, as I said, we're going to move from 30 to 31. On 31 here, I have Aston Villa and Nottingham. And then there's Brentford and Chelsea. We have Tottenham versus Southampton. We have the Manchester Derby, United versus City. And then we have Leicester versus Newcastle. Where's the money at?
Tottenham versus Southampton. Hey, Tottenham, the way they're weak, they could lose that game.
Not a chance. To Southampton.
To Southampton.
Not a
I think if
chance.
Southampton is to get a moral victory, it might be against Spurs in game week 31. So I don't know. I wouldn't load up on
Yeah.
Spurs. I wouldn't personally load up on Spurs players. Um, Newcastle, of course, I mentioned them. They play Leicester. They gotta take Leicester to Pound Town. They've got to. They're chasing that top four against Chelsea. This is one of the easiest fixtures. I wouldn't be mad if they dropped any of the games, but unlikely. Another one that stands out, I guess, would be Arsenal versus Everton. Stubborn fixture for Arsenal, but they could make it easy depending on how Everton approach that game. Man City and Man United, obviously Manchester derby. I had intended to bring in Almiron as a differential assistant manager. Tiamo, in solidarity with you and Pilan for Almiron to get that win. 2-0 with a clean sheet.
Yeah, 2-0 with a clean sheet.
It would be lovely, but yeah. Ipswich versus Wolves. I think Cunha might be back for that game. So Ipswich might get hands from Wolves, who've been playing quite well. I don't think they're under threat of relegation. But yeah, I think those are the ones that stand out. But then if I was to target players for 31, to be honest, I would be focusing on Nottingham Forest players because they double. They play Villa, not such a difficult fixture considering the form. They double against Spurs and Brentford. Arsenal, of course, out by 31. I think you have to have 2 of the 3 assets of Arsenal in your team because they double against Ipswich and Crystal Palace. Man City, I think you need 2 or 3 players in your team for Man City because they have good fixtures. They play United, which could be a whitewash or it could be a difficult game. And they double against Everton and Aston Villa. And of course, Crystal Palace and Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle, I don't think they blank from now to the end of the season because they're not in any other competition.
Yeah. So it's
Crystal
a safe bet.
Crystal Palace double back-to-back.
Nice.
That's the argument for their players.
Nice. You heard, and maybe some captain choices there. I mean, going back to game week 30, Marmoush versus Leicester, right? Haaland is out. We know that Marmoush definitely is going to be starting. I don't know if Foden probably can come into the picture. Possibly not. We have the likes of Mateta.
There's Mateta, there's
against Southampton.
Mateta, Isak, Salah.
Yes.
Or Marmoush. You shouldn't even be thinking about
those. So the fact that Wood is injured, it actually makes our lives a bit easier in terms of the options that we have. But as you heard, Marmoush, Mateta, Salah, and the likes of Isak. I think going into gaming 31 as well, Salah versus Fulham. We know that Fulham is stubborn, but this is Salah who's chasing, the all-time goal-scoring positions in the Premier League. We also have Isak against Leicester City. We know that Leicester is going down. Son against Southampton. So anyone wants to take a punt, Son against Southampton?
Let me tell you this, I would rather take a punt just thinking about it. For Kuna versus Ipswich on his return after being banned for 3 games. Then to take a punt on
Son versus Southampton.
Who hasn't had
never know, managers, you never know. Son might just want to say something before, I don't know. Is he still going to be a Tottenham player after the season? I don't think.
Who knows? I guess we can discuss that on our extra show at the end of this season.
No, you heard. But yeah, that's how things are standing. The fixtures you heard from 30, which is currently ongoing now. As we mentioned, the deadline was at 7:15 today on the 1st of April. And it is no April Fool's joke, by the way. The deadline was today because we have midweek fixtures that are taking place tonight. And yes, game week 31 as well. We gave you all the fixtures as well as the captain choices that you guys can look out for. So this deadline for game week 31 is this Saturday. So Saturday the 5th at 12 p.m. So yeah, make sure your teams are sorted. As we said, we're at the dying end of the season. So at the dying end of the season, you want to be focused. You want to be focused. You want to be sharp. You want to make sure that you are getting all your chips properly played. Your calculations have to be spot on, because it can be the difference between you catching up or you winning that mini league. And speaking of mini league, we're going to look at our mini league, Mario, this side. We see that in first position, familiar name again. I mean, JP has been playing right at the top since the start of the season. So now he's currently sitting at the summit. He just ascended the summit. Class of 24 with the 1,978 points, and they're not far from him. And why by not far, I literally mean just a point away from JP. We have Petro, the Red Devils of Manchester, I'd like to believe. So Petro is there with 1,977 points. Petro has also been doing very well, occupying that top 5, top 3 position for the most part of the second half of the season. And then third, we see Mateo. Call on Jesus. Mateo, we see you there. You climbed back to third. So you are there, finding yourself also entangled in the top 3 and trying to fight for our, most competitive title. You go into the Hall of Fame. Your name is spoken of
amongst the gods.
Amongst the gods, your name is spoken for years to come, years to come. We've been speaking of a lot of former champions here and their legends.
Names will echo in the halls of greatness.
So I'm sure you'd want to join the likes of JP. JP knows this is why he makes sure that he wants to be there, and he's gonna be the first one, if he wins it again, to win it twice.
Is it?
Yeah, because Neil won it the first time. I think Keegan won it the second time, and JP won it last season. So he probably is gonna be doing a back-to-back.
Oh, Jordan 96, 97.
Yeah, check.
Okay, MJ, we
see you there. But now shout out to our top 3, as we said. This is one of the most competitive mini leagues, and if you guys disagree, you can definitely come and join us here and show us. We invite you, no matter where you are in the world, whether you are in Asia, whether you are in America, whether you are, wherever you might be. So you definitely can come and join our mini league and show us what you're made of. But besides that, we are available on all the socials, Mario. There's not literally a social that we are not on. From X, Twitter, or AIX. I mean, apparently Elon sold the company to himself. X through AIX. But we're there on Facebook.
Yeah, however that works.
Instagram, we are there. So you guys can follow us in all of those platforms. And if you are on YouTube, which I'd like to believe most of the people in the world are on YouTube, you can definitely watch us if you're listening to us on audio. We are available on YouTube and your usual audio streams, your Apple Podcasts, as well as, Spotify. So, yeah, Mario, that is it. We spoke about the deadlines. Already Game Week 30 deadline is done. For managers that haven't sorted their team's shaky warrior season. Yeah, and then Game Week 31, is upon us on Saturday. In closing, the last message to managers with just a handful, not necessarily a handful, but I think probably 7 games to go after this, after 31.
Yeah, to managers out there in TV land, don't be like Pep Guardiola. Listen. You should listen, follow the numbers, and always remember what I say. Men lie, women lie. But numbers never lie, baby.
You heard. Numbers never lie. We shall catch you guys in the next episode. And all the best going into this coming game week. We out. Cheers.
Peace.